I hadn't seen any pictures. His family's here, so I'll be.
She has two tracks.
Shatice Jackson appeared in court this morning for the first time since her arrest. She was initially brought before Judge William Bell, but the case was moved to Judge Hudson for a bond hearing. In that hearing, Judge Hudson told Jackson she's charged with capital murder and will be held on no bond.
Long live my brother, man.
They say anger can be really dangerous, but nobody expected it to play out at a birthday party on Easter Day. Mickese James Bostic planned what he thought would be the perfect double celebration for Easter and his daughter's birthday. At 27, he had already spent nearly 9 years working for Jefferson County in Alabama, starting right after he graduated high school. He worked in the juvenile court system dealing with troubled youth day in and day out. The kind of work that requires patience, dedication, and a genuine heart for helping people. His colleagues at Jefferson County knew Mickese as someone they could count on. They say he was genuinely invested in helping troubled youth find better paths. Mickese had 3 biological children with Shatice Jackson. He also raised her 2 children from a previous relationship like his own. His family described him as having a big heart. Mickese worked multiple jobs to make sure his family had everything they needed. The mother of his children, Shatice, was 30 years old, originally from Virginia, and had moved to Birmingham. She reportedly worked for the government, though the specific details of her role haven't been made public. At first glance, her relationship with Mickese appeared to have genuine moments of connection and appreciation. She posted on social media just 2 months before the tragedy.
Bitch, clock it. Bitch, clock that T. Bitch, I always better start clocking that T, bitch.
In February, she wrote about Mickese moving the family into a larger home. Best Valentine's Day gift ever. This man moved us into a bigger and better house. 5 bedrooms, 2 full baths. Basically 2 living rooms, upstairs, downstairs, a huge backyard. I couldn't ask for anything better. I don't even want nothing else today. This was more than enough. Thank you, Daddy. We love you with everything in us. I have some making up to do. Even in a post expressing gratitude, there's an acknowledgement that things hadn't been perfect between them. While Mickese had numerous family members in Birmingham who supported him and were involved in their lives, Shatice's family remained back in Virginia. The family dynamics were reportedly complicated in other ways too. Reports indicate that both Mickese and Shatice had been involved in domestic incidents before. Escalating tensions, temporary separations, reconciliations, and underlying issues that never quite got resolved. But they seemed committed to making their blended family work no matter what challenges they faced. Mickese's love for all 5 children was evident to everyone who knew them. He was building something, investing in their future, creating stability. Easter Sunday, April 20th, 2025, started off with a joyous celebration of both Easter and their daughter's birthday. Mickese had spent weeks preparing for this double celebration. He had transformed his home in Birmingham into what can only be described as a child's paradise. The backyard was decorated with colorful Easter decorations, birthday streamers, and balloons added to the festive atmosphere.
3, 2, 1.
For hours, the celebration continued without any major incidents. After a while, Mickese and Shatice were reportedly seen having an intense conversation in the kitchen. Their voices were low, but their body language told a different story. Shortly after, they reportedly moved their discussion to a bedroom away from the guests. What began as a hushed disagreement quickly grew louder. Guests in the living room started exchanging uncomfortable glances as raised voices carried through the closed door. The argument had been building, and according to reports, it stemmed from an incident earlier in the day. Shatice had invited a coworker to the celebration, and at some point, this coworker accidentally hit a vehicle belonging to one of Mickese's family members, causing minor damage. What should have been resolved as a simple accident instead turned into a heated argument. The situation had escalated to the point where someone reportedly called the Birmingham Police Department to report a domestic disturbance. When officers arrived at the Lisa Lane residence, they spoke with both Shatice and Mickese. After assessing the situation, they determined that nothing criminal had taken place. It was simply a verbal argument that had gotten out of hand. After that initial argument, Shatice had left, reportedly upset about the confrontation and needing space to cool down. Hours passed as the celebration continued without her. When Shatice returned, the argument continued, but this time, it happened in front of everyone. In front of extended family members who had come to celebrate a little girl's birthday and Easter Sunday. Upon entering the house, the tension that had been building throughout the day worsened. Witnesses reported hearing Shatice and Mickese arguing loudly. The precise subject of their disagreement remains unclear, but it quickly escalated beyond words. Mickese made what he probably thought was the safest decision available. He exited the house, probably trying to de-escalate the situation by removing himself from it. As Mickese left the house, Shatice allegedly followed. Now at this point, everyone probably thought she was leaving too, trying to cool off. That would be the logical assumption, right? But according to multiple witness statements, instead of driving away from the scene, she drove that car directly toward Mickese James Bostic. Witnesses described watching in shock as she got behind the wheel of her car. Police officers arrived at the scene after they had initially been called for a disturbance. They found Mickese James Bostic, who had been hit by the vehicle. The response was massive. More than 25 police units responded from 4 different precincts across Birmingham. Rescue service personnel arrived quickly and responded to assist, but despite their trained efforts and the quick response of emergency services, the situation was too severe. At about 10:21 p.m. on Easter Sunday, Mickese James Bostic was pronounced gone at the scene. The investigation began immediately, with detectives separating witnesses to obtain independent accounts. The consistency of these statements painted a clear picture. Following an argument that had escalated inside the home, Shatice had deliberately driven her vehicle toward Mickese. Within 48 hours of Mickese passing, prosecutors made the decision to charge Shatice Jackson with capital offense rather than a lesser charge. When Shatice made her first court appearance, her behavior left everyone in that courtroom absolutely stunned. Dressed in a green and white striped jumpsuit, with braids only on one side of her head and the other side looking torn out,
I hadn't seen any pictures. His family's here, so I'll be able to.
She has 2 tracks.
Shatice appeared disoriented and detached during the proceedings. At moments, her expression seemed out of place given the seriousness of the charges she was facing. As this case moves through the legal system, Shatice Jackson remains in custody without bond, facing charges that could result in life without parole. What began as an Easter Sunday celebration, a day meant for renewal and joy, ended as a tragedy that shattered multiple lives. As investigators continue to piece together exactly what happened on Lisa Lane that Easter Sunday, there are still critical questions that need to be answered. An investigation was conducted to determine the exact cause, as it is going to be crucial evidence in Shatice Jackson's trial. The family members who lost their loved one that day now face an unimaginable reality. Overnight, the family lost both parents, one to tragedy and one to incarceration. The Birmingham community has been shaken by this incident, and rightfully so. For Mickese James Bostic's family, especially his mother who witnessed this tragedy, the grief is unimaginable. Rest in peace, Mickese James Bostic. Remember, danger can wear a friendly face. Stay aware, look out for others, and reach out if you need help. See you in the next case on Deranged Women. Thanks for watching.